Hey everybody, G-Bear out here, homesteading in the desert again. This is the 29th of September. We've got beautiful weather still, but as you can see, the sky is clear. But the winter's coming quick, so I'm out here getting everything winterized and upgrading as I go along. One of the things I did was brought up another two 100-watt solar panels. I mounted them on the roof of the propane cabana here. And as you can see, the wind is blowing a little bit. I got my turbine cranking up. When I got out here, my batteries were, all of the controllers were showing 13.7. So the turbine was working with all the wind that we had out here. I missed all of that. It's been very comfortable out here. Although last night, I got here yesterday, and last night the wind blew all night long. I could hear the turbine just humming away, and I had full batteries this morning. So there's my other panel rack. It's needs a little bit of cleaning. It's got some dust on it. I'll take care of that tomorrow. And I did just tie all the wires together here. I've got to straighten out this spaghetti mess. But I also put a couple of pieces of insulatory tape over the holes so I don't have to worry about little bugs crawling in. And this plant is doing pretty good because I've been keeping it up high away from the critters. And they can't get to it. I think I'm going to put everything up high to get away from them. And the other one, my big one, that's usually out there behind the motorhome, they completely devastated it. As you can see, the pot right about there is showing nothing on the top. They ate all the roots and just left a few of the fronds or the spears that come up off of aloe vera just laying there in the pot. Anyway, that's what happened. Hey, look, ATV's back on the job site. I don't have the bucket on it because I had to take it off when I took it into the dealership, but I did detail it and clean it all up so it looks real nice. And I even detailed right through the tires and in between every one of the little knobbies there and got it really shiny. But it's going to get dirty this weekend. I've got some plowing to do because there's going to be a front porch going on the cabin. I'll probably get the base down and the uprights on the front side and a couple of the rafters in place. And I'll have a 9-foot backside against the cabin, 8 foot at the front side. And then I'll get my gutters up on there, and I'm going to be draining at least one of the water barrels here. I haven't used that one on the outside or that one on the outside at all. This one is about 3/4 full or 2/3 full, and Andy's bringing water up. He's coming up tomorrow, and that will be topped off. But I could also add some of this into there and top them off. And then I'll use the rest to irrigate and give a really good soaking to my plants and hope that any life that's left in them, they're going into their dormancy state anyway for the winter. Maybe they'll sprout out again in the springtime. I'll be keeping an eye on those, and the ones that don't sprout, I'll be pulling those out and replanting, and I'm going to get a much better protection against the critters that get in there and eat the roots and clean the tops of the trees off. So that's another plot going on, or another plan. My shower is just fine, and we had some pretty good gusty winds out here. They were hitting 35 to 40 miles an hour, but everything held, no problem there. And I'll be stepping into that in a little while. Here on the trailer, I have all of my styrofoam, which is going to be my ceiling. That's 1.5 inches thick. The R value on that is just amazing. So I'm going to get that onto the ceiling, and that will give me a full insulated cabin. and I'll be able to get through the winter. And if it looks pretty good with the trim that I'm going to put on all the seams and all the way around the outer perimeter, hey, I may just leave it there. This board on the top was cull lumber. It's got a crack in it right about there, and they put the purple paint on there because it was cull. And I'm going to be using that as a new shelf to hold all the batteries, because I've got 2 more batteries to add on. I brought 2 more solar panels. I also brought up 2 more panels. Panels and batteries. And there are the 2 new batteries, and I've just got a couple of little 12 gauge jumpers going down there so that they get charged from the solar as we're going along. But I've got to move all this stuff tomorrow, and I've got to get that wall insulated and closed in, and then all of those controllers right there will all go onto a piece of plywood I've got cut out and ready for here. And I drilled a hole for these wires from the turbine to come out, so they'll come through the piece of plywood. And then I also cut out the opening for this electrical outlet. As soon as I get the plywood up there, I will put an outlet in there. And I have my low voltage switch down here. That's for the light above my head. And that one down there and that one up there will also get installed because they're on the same circuit. There's 3 of them here on the same circuit. So I'll take care of those when I've got this all pulled apart. Then I'll insulate this wall. I'll get my piece of drywall up on that corner. I'll get my piece of plywood up here to mount everything. And then the 2 bottom halves down here will just be the insulation paper will be showing, but the walls will be insulated. I don't want to close that in yet until I move all of this stuff outside. I've got to drill through the wall and bring wires in, bring wires out, etc. I put the cover on the electrical panel just because I didn't want to lose any parts, and I wanted to make sure that that was closed in. Now look over here. I got my refrigerator moved over. I got my water bottle, that's drinking water, on top of the refrigerator right there. And I took my little Koblenz camping stove, my 4-burner camping stove, and I mounted it on top of an 18-inch cabinet. And I put a couple of little brackets, one there and one on each side, so that it won't slip around on me. And now hey, look, there's empty beers. Dead soldiers. Anyway, I got my coffee maker here, and this is a carafe-free coffee maker. It runs automatically, so in the morning at 6:30 it kicks on and starts making coffee. And when the coffee's done, it keeps it warm for 1 through 4 hours, depending on what you set it on. I set it on 2 hours. If you haven't had your coffee in 2 hours after waking up, you don't get any. Anyway, I got my water heater hung back up and the propane turned on. I got my wall heater hung and the propane turned on. I got my wall cabinet in place, and I've already started putting stuff in there. That jar up there is my homemade pizza sauce. Andy and I are going to have pizza for lunch tomorrow. And let's see, what else did we got here? Oh yeah, I got a cabinet up above the stove. That's the one that the microwave will hang on. And I put some groceries up in there and my other coffee pot, because I won't be using that now that I've got this one running, unless I have a power outage. Oops, that's right, I don't get power outages. I have solar, I'm off grid. Yeah! Anyway, there's all my tools are sitting ready to go. I got some sourdough for toast in the morning, my toaster in the corner. And that's about it. I got all my windows all dressed up here. I still have to do the tops of the insides of the frame. You can see the metal there. But when I do that tomorrow or so, when that dries, I have mini blinds to go in these windows, and then I won't have to use cardboard anymore. and it'll look a little bit better in here. That's about it. My 2 little batteries, my cooler, and my rifleman gun, and another bottle of water. Got all kinds of stuff in here. Here's outside is the barbecue I used last night, and that's the lumber that's going to be going up on the front porch here. So I'm going to cut this video short, and I'm going to start measuring for all my cuts. So I'll have those all written down, and I can fly through that tomorrow. When Andy gets here at about 10 o'clock, I'll have this thing already in progress. G-Bear signing off from the desert.